Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the strongest ninja in history. And if you're not familiar with this character, that's because we haven't seen him in the manga yet. And we probably won't see him for like another 3 to 4 years or something like that, which means that we're going deep into webcomic spoilers with this video. So fair warning, if you don't want to know what's going to happen way past what the manga is currently on right now, I suggest to check out now. So this guy doesn't have a name, I guess. I mean, they just refer to him as he or him in quotations, so it's odd how they refer to him. He's kind of like Voldemort of the ninja world, and he kind of looks like him too, like he who shall not be named. I don't know what's going on with him, but he also has a few monikers, like the founder of the Ninja Village and also the strongest ninja in history. Let's just go off of his main claim to fame, and that is being the founder of the Ninja Village. The very same Ninja Village that Flashy Flash, Sonic, Hellfire, and Gale come from. So why did he start this Ninja Village? Well, it's never outright said exactly why, but just based off of all of the contextual clues, I'm assuming he just wanted his own little personal army and actually just an extra source of revenue, because money kind of seems to be important to this guy. And also, in the flashback of Flashy Flash explaining the Ninja Village, he says that him and the trainees were a precious commodity, as well as their future source of income, and they spared little expenses investing in them in order to become overpowered assassins. But it's also revealed that the founder didn't retire after creating the village, and he continued to assassinate people. Even important figures whose names will be passed down in history have all been eliminated by this guy as a part of his job. So I guess the job is important to him, as well as just making money from it, which is interesting because you didn't think that a guy like this would really care about that stuff, but apparently it's important to him. Now, also, it's revealed that he has assassinated over 1,000 people, which is insane. And this also goes into his age, because in order to take out that many people, you probably have to live for a really long time, because apparently this guy is over 300 years old. So why is that? How is he able to live this long, especially when he doesn't really look old? He doesn't look like, Bang or Bomb or something. He kind of looks like of ambiguous age. Well, that also goes into what he could be. So it's also said, at least according to quote-unquote rumors, that his true nature is not human. And he also doesn't want anyone to find out what he is, because when somebody pried into his history, he assassinated them instantly. But the further exposition that we get on this guy might give us some clues as to what he could be. So it says that he has different skin colors on different parts of his body, as well as multiple heartbeats. And in addition, if the targeted individual that he's going after has a strong and healthy body, he will take all of their blood and innards away. And then based on that description, they can think that he could be, and then there's an ellipses, and then we don't find out what they say. Because I guess one wanted us to kind of decide for ourselves. Maybe he doesn't want there to be an exact answer to this, and it's kind of just he's of ambiguous origin or just nature in general, which I think is cool. But that leads us to speculation, which, your boy loves to do. So, based off of just how this guy looks, just from an aesthetic standpoint, and as well as the little blood clue that we got, it's possible that this guy might be a similar type of vampire race to that we saw of Pure Blood, the very same demon level monster that fought Zombie Man. So, Pure Blood says that he is a lord vampire, and that his superior blood traces back to countless generations. So, that's old, and vampires and their lore in general they're all old, and they're basically immortal unless you kill them in a special way. And this guy kind of looks like Pure Blood. They both have all sharp teeth, they both have the pointy ears, and their eyes are similar too. And this guy does have a nose. If you look closely, and in some different panels, you can see it's just squished, and he has the little nostril slits, which is very similar to Pure Blood as well. Pure Blood kind of looks similar to this in some of the other panels that we see of him. So that could mean that he is just whatever Pure Blood was, the Lord Vampire, he could be that. maybe it's not that clear cut. Because the other info that we have about this guy kind of conflicts with him being like straight up vampire because of the whole like different skin colors on different parts of his body as well as multiple heartbeats. And like when we see him, it kind of looks like he's stitched up kind of. So he kind of has like a Frankenstein type dynamic to him. And this could also play into how he has such longevity and why he takes the innards along with the blood. Because he's just like transfusing it into him. Like he's just replacing parts of his body with other parts of the individuals that, you know, he considers strong and healthy in order to supplement him and to just further his life. And I guess he throws in like extra hearts and stuff like that too. So how is he able to do this? I'm assuming it has something to do with like some kind of ninjutsu or some kind of ninja technique or secret, because we do know that this guy has like some scrolls on him which Saitama confiscates from him. Specifically, like on the scrolls, apparently in the kanji it says like prohibition or forbidden or whatever. It's just something that like, you know, it's typical to like, you know, ninjutsu and stuff. There's like a whole bunch of forbidden techniques, kind of like the dark side of the force. So I'm assuming that whatever he's learning from these scrolls, which has probably been passed down for many years, it allows him to take body parts and blood and innards from other people and add them to himself in order to extend his life pretty much indefinitely. But that also doesn't explain like the monster aesthetic that he has. So it could be a few things. So either this guy has taken like body parts or just aspects of vampires or other monsters and added to him, or he's gone through like a subtle monsterification himself through like his years of training and the intense hatred and explosion of negative emotions that he has, or he's gone through like some Zenkai boosts as well, and maybe that's led him to like almost becoming a monster but not quite there possibly, or maybe he is a full-blown monster, or maybe he could be similar to what we've seen of pre-woke Garo, like before he became fully awoken. Maybe he's like in that in-between territory and something like that possibly. But then that leads us to this guy's history, because we do know that 15 years before the current time in the story, he had a quote-unquote epic battle with Blast, which he actually lost and then went into a coma and then just stayed inside of a recovery capsule ever since then. So this also leads us into like how powerful this guy could have been, because if he had an epic battle with Blast, then maybe we could assume that it wasn't like a low diff, maybe it was competitive, we'll never really know, but also it could mean that Blast had to take this guy down, which could be a good indication of how ridiculously powerful he is. But also just the hype on this guy being the strongest ninja in history, and the way that the Heavenly Ninja Party talks about him and fears him, I'm assuming that this guy is probably at the minimum like a high dragon. I mean, they just go further dumping mad hype on this guy when they say that like he could defeat all of the Heavenly Ninja Party very easily, like beat them like how he would beat a baby. Like they say something like that, and then he says that like he could take out Flashy Flash and Sonic in less than a second. Now, is this true? Maybe, maybe not, because Sonic also says like that's not possible. Are you hallucinating? Did you become brainwashed? But also, you know, like the guy that's dropping all of this info, Gale, he directly fought Sonic and Flashy Flash before this with the Heavenly Ninja Party, and that wasn't exactly an easy fight for Sonic and Flashy Flash. Like, they struggled against them. And despite that, they still think that this guy would, like, low diff all of them. So maybe that's probably true. And, like, he also says that he could deliver ninjutsu with fantasy-like power 4 to 5 times every 0.2 seconds. So that's kind of similar to the feat that we saw Flashy Flash use against Awakened Garo when he did the light speed fist. You know, probably something like that. So maybe he's that strong, maybe stronger, maybe a little weaker, but regardless, I stand by him being minimum high dragon. Now, of course, the argument could be made that maybe he's even above dragon. And that brings me to the fate of this guy. So this guy does run into Saitama, but then he just gets flattened by him, like put directly into the ground. And it's not really noted by Saitama that he gave him any kind of special kind of difficulty or took more than one punch to take him down. So I'm assuming that, you know, Saitama took care of him just as he does everyone else. Meaning that he probably wasn't particularly powerful compared to, like, I don't know, Boros or Awakened Garo or something like that. But that also doesn't necessarily mean that he's not above dragon because of that, because we saw that like Orochi could only take one normal punch from Saitama. So it's not like a prerequisite for like the above dragons to be able to take a punch from Saitama or to give him like a particularly difficult fight for him. And that begs the question of like, is this guy dead? Is he still alive? Well, it's unsure at this point, but something that we should focus on is the way that Saitama talks about him. He says that, I was just standing here when the ninja-looking dude came charging all of a sudden. Is he a friend of yours? Like he says is, not was he a friend of yours. So it's possible that he didn't kill him because maybe he thought that he was a human. Maybe he thought he was a friend of Flashy Flash and Sonic. So maybe he just didn't splatter him, because we do see like the indent of him in the ground. So maybe that's all he did. He just knocked him out, put him back in the ground, and then maybe put him into a coma, which would be funny because, you know, that's what happened with him and Blast. And then I could also see just, you know, later on in the story, this guy just comes out of the crater in the ground and then, like, remembers that Saitama took him out and then has, like, an internal vendetta against him, because that's, like, part of the course with the ninjas. get shown up by Saitama or someone, and then they just get internally offended by it, and then they just make it their life's mission to take that guy down. So it could be something like that, and then maybe this guy becomes like a future big villain that's just on the side, you know, in the story. That's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you think about this guy. How strong do you think he was, and do you think he's still alive? And also, if you liked the video, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon, gives you access to a weekly Q&A, and if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next